that turkey hunting can be quite tough. There are 5 common mistakes that all turkey hunters make. And I mean all, even the most experienced, most successful turkey hunters out there, everybody, can make 1, 2, or more of these mistakes year after year after year. It's just so easy to fall into a rhythm, a pattern. Humans are very much so patternable and are very in tune to following a day-to-day, week-to-week pattern, and it's hard to break those patterns. And so, there are 5 common mistakes that you and I and all turkey hunters have made and will make time and time again. But if you follow along, stick with me. I'm going to share what these mistakes are, and I'm going to go over some ways that each and every one of these mistakes can be fixed. And I'll be sharing some personal experiences, some personal stories that relate to these mistakes, because like I said, I've made these mistakes. And you don't want to go anywhere. Mistake number 3 is very important to know and to not commit. So, mistake number 1. I'm sure all of you thank you, Jason, for chiming in. My buddy Jason is on here. He said he's currently grocery shopping at Walmart. Not if I'll get back in time for the live stream. Oh, no biggie. All right, so mistake number 1, everybody. Calling too much. Okay. I'm going to switch. So. Calling too much. I'm sure that you've all heard this one. We read this in turkey hunting magazines. We hear this on turkey hunting podcasts. When we watch turkey hunting videos, and when you watch other YouTube videos about turkey and turkey hunting, you've heard this one. This number 1 mistake. Calling too much. Yes, calling a lot can screw your turkey hunt altogether. So really, the mistake is yelping too much to sound unrealistic and kind of making the tom, if that's what you're after. If you're not after a 1.5-year-old little Jake's tiny, if you're after a mature 3-year-old tom or older, you can put them on edge, make them a bit nervous and uneasy. If you're calling too much, that's not what turkey do. How many of you ever heard of covert calling? Covert calling is what these birds are doing right now. This tom, he's not even gobbling. If I turn the volume up, well, I'll turn the volume up. You all should be able to hear. All you're hearing is the wind. Okay, I'll shut up so you can listen for a moment. So, yeah, you're not hearing any gobbling. And he doesn't. I've watched this gobbler with his 4 hens for a long time. I've been following them, watching them for days, and getting tons of video footage and B-roll shots that I can use in live streams and future videos. And he does not gobble at all while he's with these hens. But I do have other video footage of when these birds were within like 30 yards of me, or in even some cases 20 yards of me, and I was able to capture on my iPhone's camera with my iPhone's microphone. I was able to capture the covert calls. I just got done mentioning, have you ever heard of covert calling? And the covert calling is just contentment, just turkey going about their everyday lives, feeding, grazing like they're doing here, doing what turkey do, and they're just making very soft, subtle, very, very soft, subtle, almost muted type calls. You have to be in the turkey's bubble to hear the calling. And this group of turkey that I just showed you, like I mentioned, I was following them for days. I've been spotting them almost daily, and have been able to get lots of video of them. In some cases, they were real close to me, and at other times they were far away. But when they were real close, excuse me, those hens, they were going. Just, covert calling is just really, really soft purrs, light, soft clucks, maybe a 1 to 2 or 3 note max yelp, or just really light, muddled, soft calling that you would not hear unless you were really close to the turkey. So if you remember this, that the number one mistake, and I've been guilty of calling too much, and all hunters fall victim to this number one mistake, calling too much. If you just remember that the covert calling is really all you need to do. Like, you've got to, as I go on with the other mistakes, the next 4 mistakes, I'll get into this in more detail, in more depth. I've already off on a tangent here about covert calling and stuff, but if you just remember, soft calls, subtle soft calls, and minimal calling will get you more mature gobblers, will get you more turkey tags filled. Little calling is really huge, is big, it goes far, it goes a long ways. So really, you've got to picture here though. You've got to put yourself in the turkey's feet, right there. They don't have shoes, so I can't say you can put yourselves in their shoes. That's not, the term I was trying to play out here. But anyways, you gotta always remember, there's predators out there that kill and eat these things, and one of the number one things that really can make turkey be really quiet and just stick to covert calling, just little soft calls that only they can hear amongst themselves in their little bubble wherever they're moving about their home range. You've got to think there's a lot of predators out there: fox, coyote, bobcat, hawks, eagles, owls, fisher, and ermine, and weasels. There's just a lot of things that kill and eat turkey, and kill and eat turkey poults, and smash, kill, break turkey eggs. So a lot of pressure that causes the turkey to be very weary, very alert, high alert, always looking, listening, and always being quiet. And obviously, too much human pressure. You hunting them too much human encroachment, human pressure could shut them right up, make them be quiet for long periods of time. Okay, so little calling will go a long ways. Most of the time you've got to wait it out. Just the light covert calling in the beginning, and waiting for a while, maybe half hour plus, after a little bit of covert calling sequence, just some light purring and light clucks and 2 to 3 note yelps, and then being quiet for about a half hour, and wait it out. And maybe if you don't hear anything approaching, you don't hear any drumming and spitting or any scratching and leave, you don't hear any turkey, any gobbling or anything for about a half hour, then maybe you can amp up the call a bit. Then at that point it would be okay to increase the volume and maybe yelp a little more excitedly and get some rasp at the end of the yelp. Maybe 4, 5, 6 note excited yelp, and get to really maybe strike that off a gobble. The distance to be able to tell if there is one coming. And then after that call sequence, wait again, wait another half hour plus. For the most part, and you've all heard this, this is common knowledge that with turkey hunting, that the tom, that gobbler, a lot of times he'll come in silently. As you can see here in the scene, this gobbler, I'll turn the volume back up. He's being quiet. There's no yelping from the hens. There's no gobbling from this tom. He's a good 3-year-old plus tom. His beard is probably over 8 inches, between 8 and 10 inches. He's probably a good 3-year-old tom. So you've got to always remember that these turkey, they could be coming in quietly. They could be coming into your approach, your setup. They heard you. They heard the calling. They're going to go about doing their things. In this case, this tom, he's with hens. He's henned up. But once these hens split off, break off, go their separate ways to go start laying eggs about midday, this tom could be left alone, be wandering. And he'll remember hearing those calls that you made. And he'll think, oh, there's another hen I haven't serviced yet. He'll come looking. He's going to come in quietly. He's going to come in quiet, looking, listen very sharply, very keen, very alert, looking for that hen, listening for that hen. And so it's very imperative that you set it out and remain patient for, in some cases, hours, and in some cases all day. It's taken me almost a full day to shoot some big, mature 3 to 5-year-old tom turkey before, because I learned patience, learned how to be patient turkey hunting, and I recommend that you all develop patience. If you do not have patience, if you are not the patient type, if you're just a run and gun type only, I really highly recommend that you find the courage, muster up the willpower to learn some patience for the turkey hunt, for the turkey woods, because I promise you that you will fill more turkey tags. That way you will reap the rewards, have much more success to come. Number 2, the second common mistake that all turkey hunters make at one time or another is moving too much. I'm sure that you all thought, okay, like way back in the beginning when I mentioned there are 5 common mistakes that all turkey hunters make, and even the most experienced, most successful turkey hunters out there have made these mistakes time and time again. Almost every year they're going to fall victim to 1 or 2 or more of these mistakes. And moving too much. This one is so hard to not break. This rule of turkey hunting, staying still, not moving. This is a rule of turkey hunting that is so hard to break. We're human. It's human nature to fidget and to be impatient, and also to react to sounds we hear. As soon as we hear something off to our right, we have the tendency to turn our heads very quickly. But it's actually very important that we start developing different tactics with our approach, really, with turkey hunting, deer hunting, when hunting anything. It's very imperative that we start learning how to move very slowly, cautiously, and start practicing how to be very still in the woods. So maybe next time, when we do hear the rustling in the leaves to our right or left or behind us, we don't go, what was that? Or, oh man, what was that? But maybe next time when you hear that noise behind you, don't whip your head around, but very slowly move your eyes to the side and just move very slowly, just enough so you can see out of the corner of your eye. Or really, it's best to not move at all when you hear a sound, because what you may have heard is that Tom coming into your call-in setup where you had just did a call-in sequence. He heard you. He can pinpoint exactly where you are, where that call-in can come from. I'm going to well, this ties into the calling too much and the call, why it's important that you don't call so much and why you call softly and and why you use 30% volume of the capability of that call, whatever turkey call you're using. It's been recommended by like the hunting public and the Southern Outdoorsman Hunted podcast and their guests they have on their podcast. It's been recommended that you use only about 30% of the volume that call's capable of. And that's because the turkey's hearing is so keen, so sharp. They have just openings on the sides of their head and they're offset, and they cock their head sideways, and as they're hearing the sounds, and they've got like radar sharp hearing, and can really pinpoint the exact location of where that calling come from, and within an hour or two, or in some cases even longer down the road, that Tom Turkey will show up where he heard you doing the yelping and purring, that light covert turkey calling hours earlier. So, and so there. That was more on the calling. But let's get back on moving too much. The number two mistake, moving too much. All turkey hunters are guilty of this. The northeastern wild turkey in general, their eyesight is so sharp, so keen. 100 or more yards away, that turkey can see just the twitch of your finger. Your finger may be slipping off of the safety to the trigger, or you see that finger flick, or they could see the blinking, the whites of your eyes as you blink, like 100 yards plus away. That's how keen the turkey's eyesight is. They have hawk like vision. They can, for the most part, in my opinion, they see better than a hawk. So it's no wonder that we all get busted time and time again by a turkey, and we all of a sudden hear that alarm pot as the turkey are bobbing their heads, holding their head high, and bobbing their heads back and forth. We've all heard that and seen the turkey's reaction to seeing us, spotting us, and they're sounding the alarm to the other birds in the area. And a lot of times it's just a blinking of our eyes, or the moving of our hand, or flicking of our finger, or just the slight turn of our head that made that hen turkey or that gobbler spot us. And so it's imperative that when the gobbler is coming, when you know that gobbler, that tom turkey is approaching your setup, it's very imperative that you only move when his head is down, when his head is blocked, when you know for certain his head is behind a big wide tree trunk, or maybe when he turns around and his fan is out, when he goes into half strut or full strut and his tail feathers block his back of his head. That's, for the most part, that's the best time to move, to make your movement, is when the tom turns and he's in strut and his fan blocks the back of his head and you can't see his head. Then you can make all the movement in the world to get your gun up and ready to put your call down, to do whatever movements necessary to get yourself in ready position for a shot, for when he does turn sideways, and you see see the wattle and the red and white and blue head, and see the beads of his eyes, and that, so that way you can take them and give that old Tom dirt nap, right? So, yeah, number 3. Okay, so I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream that you'll want to stick around for the number 3, for the third common mistake all turkey hunters make, because this one's a doozy. But first, before I get on to this third mistake that all turkey hunters are guilty of, do any of you uh, know of any mistakes, turkey hunting mistakes that come to the off, that roll off the tongue, that you can think of off the top of your head? Please leave the comments, chat away. Oh, apparently I have to sign into the chat, but so bear with me. Wild Maine Outdoors. Oh, just signing into the chat. For some reason, this said I had to sign into the chat. Okay. Now it's just. Oh, yeah. Oh. Where'd we go? Sorry about that, everybody. Try another way. I can probably just do this. Enter my password, right? I think that was right. Okay. So I've got to tap yes on my phone. So hold on, everybody. I'm gonna turn you around. Here we'll. So I gotta tap yes on the phone. Tap yes. I'm signing into the chat so I can chat with everybody and so I can see your chats. There we go. So sorry about the technical difficulty. But what I was doing was asking everybody. So if I turn that off, get that off, lock that. There we go. So, hi everybody, I'm back. There, now I can chat away. So, what are some mistakes that come to mind for you guys? And have any of you ever made this mistake, calling too much or moving too much? And let me know in the comments, chat away. And also let me know in the chat if you can relate to the majority of turkey hunters out there about just how hard it is to test our wits with those mature gobblers, you know, and how hard it is to beat their eyesight and their hearing. I'm sure you can relate. So let me know in the chat, comments. Cool. All right. So, anyways, I was hearing like it was probably echoing on your guys' end, maybe. You have to turn that volume down. So, who else can relate to these mistakes while turkey hunting? ... Alright, let's get back to some footage. Here, let's alright. So I want all of you to watch this hunt unfold here. So here I am. Guess what? You guessed it. Moving too much. But as a point of view cam. So this is me getting into position early though. I moved into an area about late morning, mid morning, late morning, where I first, though, before coming to this location, I did some soft calling way, or like 100 yards away. As I was coming in, I was doing a little bit of calling just to verify that there weren't any gobblers willing to play ball. And I was watching and listening, scanning my surroundings very intently and listening very intently for any turkey nearby to verify that there probably were no turkey in this location right this moment. So I felt confident that I got here without spooking any birds. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I want to pause that briefly. So what I'm going to do is I want to start it over because okay, let's go back to it. So, there we go. So I was setting up. So here I am. Here I'd made a call. You have to turn up the volume to it. Did you hear the goblin? Can we back that up? Okay, so I make a soft call. So at this point, I'm calling because I know certain now. I know that. Okay.
Put it right here. Set it right there.
Okay, so they gave me the stuff. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So right here you see the road, the dirt road. The goblin come from there. They circled around.
Yeah.
The gobblers went off to my right, circled wide. They went quiet. I only heard that gobbler or two, and they went quiet. They circled way around, and that's why I'm making a move on them. But this ties into the number 2 mistake, moving too much. I really should have remained where I was. They weren't coming back. Yeah, I'm moving up the side of the dirt road here, staying hugging the edge of the trees, but unbeknownst to me, they were circling around and coming back to the road, and they were going to come back to my location where I was previously from. I had one wrong head. So, yeah. Anywho's it. So excuse my family if you hear any background noise. My family, they're getting ready for bed. They're feeding the cats, and my wife and son, they're coming up the stairs getting ready to go to bed. So excuse the background noise for a moment. Bryson, stop. Why don't you come say hi to everybody? I'm getting ready to share the third common mistake that all turkey hunters make and talk about how they could fix it. Bryson, stop. Really stop. Come over here and say hi. Okay, anyways, all of you are waiting. The third mistake, bad setup. I don't know if any of you have heard of this one before, but what that means, bad setup, is you've got to set up where the turkey wants to be. Not where you want to be, but where you know the turkey you want to be. Where you've got to have done your homework, done your thorough scouting, and have been learning your hunting areas and just know your birds, know your toms, gobblers. They are out there 24/7. They know the lay of the land. They become very aware of all their surroundings, and they learn all their travel routes that they favor. They like the past leaf resistance. They know where the hens are, in the general area where the hens are nesting, where the hens are feeding. These toms, they have travel routes, travel corridors, and they love to travel field edges, logging roads. They love to travel open woods, love to travel ridges, ridge top. They love to get onto high points, high ground to listen long distance to hear those hens and to also strut and gobble, to sound their gobbles off and off to the distance to sound the gobble, to send that gobble out to all the hens and their girlfriends out there. And they obviously have strut zones. Strutting zones are just areas within their core area that they're favoring in the spring during your spring turkey hunt, where they like to strut and gobble. It could be a field, an opening in the forest, a clear cut, a ridge on a clear cut. It could be a small little food plot, a small field, a field edge that they go to strut and gobble periodically throughout the day as they're going about doing turkey things. And so it's very imperative that we learn these turkey travel routes, these gobble or strutting zones, and these roosting areas, and these general feeding areas, and so forth, so on, so that we know where to set up, so that our setup is not bad, so we can going into our hunt when we're planning ahead and thinking, okay, I want to go hunt here. Okay, I know that the roosting area is, I know they traditionally, years past, they've roosted over here, roosted here. I know they love to feed over here. I know they love to loaf. Loafing is a midday activity, turkey do. I know they love to loaf here midday for 2-3 hours before maybe moving on down the dirt road or logging road over to this field or this clearing in the woods over here to feed, so forth, so on. So once we got a good handle, good grasp on our turkey's travel routes, we want to set up on those travel routes. So before we make calling sequence. So like if you're running and gunning, say, be run and gun an area where you know turkey exists, where you know there has been gobblers. You've done your scouting, seen the track scat, seen the strutting, the drag marks from the strutting toms, and then you found dust bathing areas. You know the turkey are there, and so when running and gunning, you want to pick your route accordingly based on where you know turkey have been in the past. And before you ever make that first call, what you want to do here for making a bad setup, a good setup, so that you can have a good setup, a good ambush here, in hopes to be successful. You want to scan your surroundings and look for the perfect tree to set up again. Look for that big, wide trunked tree that could hide your shoulders, hide your silhouette, in like the dark, shadowy area. Look for a great hideaway, sit spot in the spot where you're deciding to make that first call. This is a good running and gun tactic, just a good general turkey call and turkey hunting tactic in general. And find that perfect spot to sit, to run to sit and get your gun in ready position and wait it out before you ever make that first call. And then like get out into the highest ground, or walk out into the middle of this clearing you've come to. And I almost forgot. It's another. Get tongue tied. I almost forgot. It's also important to, before ever making the first call, when running and gunning or using this tactic for hunting turkey, to pick a spot to do your first call, make your first calling sequence, where your shooting lanes are no further than the distance you feel comfortable shooting. Pick a spot where the clearing is only 40 yards wide, or no more than maybe 60 yards in the longest, furthest spot. 40 yards or and under is perfect for shotgun hunters, and if you're bow hunting, you'd want 30 yards or less if using a bow and arrow. But pick a spot to call in when running gunning or when going out to try to strike up a lone gobbler, to find that gobbler who wants to play ball, and pick a clearing or spot where your shooting lanes are max, or where the max distance is stops at your most comfortable shooting distance for your weapon that you're using, and then go out into the middle of that clearing, do your call in there. Because remember, well, like I mentioned earlier, the turkey's hearing is like radar sharp hearing. As soon as they start hearing that call-in sequence that you're doing, they're doing one of these numbers, cocking their head, angling their head to allow them sounds to enter their openings, and it's hitting the little inner hairs of the ears, openings in there. Well, they don't have ears. They just have openings on the side of their head. We have ears, external ear lobes, ear part. But so their brains register to them. Okay, that's a hen turkey. She's over here. They're able to hone in to the exact spot where you were calling. That's oh man! In a later live stream and later turkey hunting episode that I'll post to my channel, I'll talk more about the biology of turkey, and I'll post an episode on my Spike Signals YouTube channel about turkey's hearing and eyesight and all that in the future. But yeah, their hearing, man, it's so good that they can pinpoint exactly where you were standing and doing that calling. So then after you're done your calling sequence, then beeline it for that sit spot you picked out before you ever made that first call, and that sit spot should be about 20-30 yards away from where you made your calling, because that's where you're going to kill that gobbler. That tom turkey is going to march right in there, right to that spot where you were doing all that calling, and boom, that's where you're going to kill him. So bad setup. The number 3 common mistake that all turkey hunters are guilty of committing is making a bad setup. And bad setups are you sitting down immediately right where you did all your calling. Where if you sat down right where you were doing all that calling, that Tom's going to spot you. He's going to come marching right to where he's going, his eyes and his hearing is focused on that spot where you were calling, and ultimately where you're sitting. Bad setup. Boom, you just got busted. Another example of a bad setup. Just obviously not having enough background cover. Setting up out in the wide open, where you have no frontal cover, and where it's bright, where the sun is on you, where you're out in the bright light. Not setting up. That's a bad setup. You want to set up in the dark, shadowy areas of the forest and up against a tree trunk and down low with lots of brush and stuff in front of you, with face mask, gloves, so there's no shiny skin visible. And I have transitional lens glasses, so when I'm outdoors, these turn dark to help cover my eyes. A lot of turkey hunters will wear sunglasses to hide the whites of their eyes. But the glasses, yes, I know what you're thinking. The glasses themselves can be shiny and light. But think of this, if you're a bad setup is setting up out in the open where the light is shining off of you, where the sun is hitting you, shining off of you. If you're in the dark, shadowy areas, and there's no light hitting those glasses, they're not going to reflect, and no light's going to bounce off them, and the turkey won't see the shininess of the glasses. Yeah, so remember this, turkey. All turkey, man. They know right where you made that call. So, and you want to go into your hunt, go into turkey. When you're out there turkey hunting, you want to keep all this in mind. The number 1 mistake, calling too much. Number 2, moving too much. Number 3, bad setup. Don't fall victim to a bad setup. Just use common sense and use your woodsmanship skills. Hopefully you've developed woodsmanship skills long ago. If you're a turkey hunter, or you're new or just getting into turkey hunting, you most likely have grown up deer hunting or hunting small game, and you've developed some form of woodsmanship skills. You've probably learned woodsmanship skills from your father or uncle or aunt, uncle, siblings, or so forth, so on, whatever. But use your woodsmanship skills and common sense here with setting up, with your approach for calling and setting up and waiting out that tom. So the number 4 common mistake that all turkey hunters will make at some point throughout the turkey hunted season, or all turkey hunters have made at some point in time in their turkey hunting career, is falling victim to no patience, having no patience whatsoever. I'm going to pause here briefly to bring the hunt back up that I was showing you. So here, I'm going to turn the volume up too. So.
Yeah. I know.
So the toms, they're right over here. All right. So
Oh yeah, put it right here. Set it right there. And they were coming right down the pipe. They got kind of nervous, turned back. Making a move on these gobblers. There's 3 of them. One nice tom, at least a 2.5-year-old tom, and 2 jakes. They were coming right in, right down the pipe, man. This big bird overhead, turkey filters up, put them uneasy. The deer snorting in the woods behind me. I got them uneasy. They were real nervous, timid, and they turned around and went back the way they come from. I had them coming in. I called to them. They immediately answered, and they were coming right on a string. And they got nervous, took off, went back the way they come from. So sneaking around the road here, dirt road. Coming over here, see if see if I can call them back in.
all right. So what's playing out here, everybody, is me breaking the number 4 rule. Now I have no patience. I got impatient
Look, this edge.
on this
They were
one.
coming right down.
Because
I'm gonna
I
go a little
saw
further.
them,
I'm gonna get into the woods. I got called.
that gobbling and the visual of that long beard.
Making a move on these gobblers. There's 3 of them. One nice tom, at least a 2.5-year-old tom, and 2 jakes. They were coming right in.
Want to do stupid things, want to make bad decisions, and blow their hunt altogether. So patience, man. Like I mentioned way early in the beginning of the live stream. That was tying into calling too much, and I was talking about how it's very important that we call very little and not too much. Don't overdo it, so we're not sounding unrealistic. The turkey never call continuously nonstop out there, and I brought up patience, and I was I was actually recommending to all of you, for those of you that don't have much patience, especially when it comes to turkey hunting, I was highly recommending that you find some way to muster up the courage and willpower to start practicing patience. Start practicing sitting a half hour to 40 minutes longer at each call-in set, every setup that you that you're involved in and during your turkey hunt. Practice just sitting it out another 30 to 40 minutes each and every turkey hunt. And then maybe the next turkey hunt, try to sit it out an hour longer. Eventually, hopefully, you'll learn to sit 2-3 hours tops before ever deciding to pack up and move to another area to hunt altogether, or just to make a move on these birds, these turkey that are living out in this area that you're hunting. That bird, man, that gobbler, he could be coming in silently, very quietly, and you want to keep your ears peeled. You want to be listening intently for the that walking turkey in the leaves, or you want to listen very closely for the spitting and drumming, or for the dragging of the wingtips as he's in full strut, and it's like a, I can't do it. Some turkey hunters are really good at mimicking the spitting and drumming that the big old mature tom will make as he goes full strut. But I do know they make like a sound. And when that turkey is within 30 or less yards of your sit spot, and you're going to be able to pick that up, hear that tom could be coming in not gobbling at all, but he may still spit and drum and drag his wingtips, or he's going to come in quietly for the most part, or all intents and purposes. If you've been calling, he heard you. Like I've been a broken record tonight. I've been saying this time and time again. Their hearing is so keen, so sharp. They pinpointed your exact location of that call, and they're coming. And now let's play another scenario here. Let's say that okay, I'm coming up with another example, another scenario. Patient. So you've called, right? You've got an answer. A lot of times, too, you've got to take the gobbler's temperature. How many of you have heard that before? You've got to take the temperature of that tom. You've got to pay attention to him really, really closely, so that you can kind of get a general idea of his mood. If he answers you like immediately, he answers your call, or he almost cuts you off with his gobble, and he likes what he heard, and sometimes, some cases, it's a good idea to maybe do like yelp 3-4 times right after that first initial cut off gobble that he sounded, and then you be quiet. So maybe one more time yelping, and especially if he answers back moments after that last yelp, and then. So this is an example I'm giving you for being patient, and where patience wins all. This is going to help you tremendously. This will help you be much more successful. So in turkey hunts to come in your future. So Tom heard you. He answered. You know that he's interested in your calls. You could tell by how quickly he answered. In some cases, sometimes people call and they don't hear a gobble first, almost a minute afterwards, and it's sitting as far away. And then sometimes the hunter will call again, and again that gobbler might sound off again. This time it could be further away. So then at that point in time, it's wise for the hunter to pack up his bags, grab his decoys if he's using decoys, and start and maybe make a move, get in close. There's a good chance of that tom that didn't gobble until a minute after you called. There's a good chance he didn't gobble necessarily to your calling. He heard you, but a lot of times he's henned up. He's with other hens. He could be gobbling at a pesky old crow or something else, or a car horn or something. He might have shot gobbled to some other noise besides your calling, and you're plainly hearing him going further away. Then and only then is it wise to make a move, and then the patience doesn't play here. Patience isn't necessary in this scenario. But in another scenario where patience is necessary is if that gobbler was fairly close, within 50, maybe within 100 50 yards of your location and he cut your calling off with his gobble. And then you yelped again right after you heard that first gobble, and he immediately answers again, and he's a tad closer. Then you know he's coming. And then you've got to, that's when you need to put the calls down, get your gun up and ready, to get your video cameras turned on and recorded, and just remain patient, wait it out. This is where patience comes in play here. But that gobbler, he's going to take his sweet old time. They move slow at their own pace. They move when they want to. At this point in time, you're in their court. Okay? So you've got to wait on them. You're stuck in their playing court, and you've got to play that ball game until it's over. You got to stick it out till that game is over. So he could be coming in silently, he may not gobble another time at all. Maybe no more gobbling. And so by you just sitting there patient, listening, being still, listening closely. You wanted to listen for him walking, listen for the that was a horrible spitting drum. But he could be coming in spitting and drumming and strutting in hopes that that hen spots him. He's still coming in putting on a show for that hen. Where's the hen, you may ask? It's you. You're the hen. You made those hen calls. He's coming looking for you. He doesn't need to gobble. You know why he's not gobbling? Because he's not trying to get a response from that turkey to kind of pinpoint exactly her location. He's going to keep gobbling to get a response from her, to keep trying to pinpoint her exact whereabouts. But if he's not gobbling, it's because he already knows where she is. He knows where you are. He knows where you made those calls, and he's coming to that exact spot. So remain patient and wait him out. It could take a half hour, an hour, and yes, it could take 2 or 3 hours before that Tom decides to come to that spot. He could swing wide, circle wide, spitting and drumming and strutting and why he may do that is because he's not seeing the hen. So he's just strolling the woods, the area looking for that hen as he's spitting and drumming and stretch his head high and looking. He could very well maybe circle your location, but he's going to be circling around to come back to that location that you were calling it. So you've got to just wait it out, everybody. Patience wins all, man. And you will kill that bird if you remain patient. So that was the number 4 most common mistake that turkey hunters make and are guilty of time and time again, and that's the lack of patience, not having patience. And this leads me to the number 5 mistake, most common mistake that all turkey hunters make or will make time and time again. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, put it right here. Set it right there.
Number 5, everybody. Johnny Five's alive. I don't know if you know that reference. You guys remember that movie? I'm kind of aging myself here. For those of you young turkey hunters, you probably don't know that reference. But anyways, I was thinking of a movie from back in the day, from my childhood. Johnny Five's alive. Robotic type movie. Anyways, number 5, the 5th most common mistake that all turkey hunters are going to be guilty of at one time or another is not reading the bird. So I was kind of touching on this one a little bit on the 4th mistake, and that was taking the temperature of that gobbler, like reading him, paying attention to him very closely. if you're hunting these birds, it's very important that you learn everything you possibly can about them and listen to all their vocalizations. Listen to that gobbler when he gobbles and what he gobbles at, and so forth, so on. Read that bird, like really, like figure out where he wants to go, the reason why he wants to go there. Um, like, okay, hung up birds. We've all heard this term. If you've been turkey hunting for at least a year or longer, we've the hanging up, that he hung up, that Tom, that gobbler, he hung up on. A hung up bird is probably because you've been calling so much. This touch just goes back on this touches on the number one mistake, calling too much. If you've been calling too much, he could hang up. You may have gotten answers, a few gobbles here and there, but that bird could very well hang up because maybe you don't sound realistic, or he got a little uneasy because of the excessive calling, and maybe your volume of the calls to being real. It's unrealistic of the turkey to call extremely loud. Those turkey calls on the market today are quite loud. You can make the volume on them be excessively loud. 30% volume is adequate enough for all turkey calls. I'm telling you, I mean, you've got to stick to that general rule of turkey calling. 30% volume on that call. That's all you need. So maybe you called too loud, called too much. That bird could have hung up because of maybe that. It could have been maybe a hen came into play, so forth, so on. But at this point in time, it's imperative that you call less or don't call at all. If you stopped hearing gobbling, you constantly continuously calling could get you busted. It's causing movement. Even if you're using a mouth call, you're making facial. You might be cupping with your hand with that mouth reed call. You could be turning your head. You're still making movements and fidgeting with a mouth call, just like you would with a box call or slate pot type call. So it's, if the bird hung up, this is touching on the number 5 common mistake that all turkey hunters make, and that's not reading the bird. So by figuring out, okay, he's hung up. I don't know why. He went quiet. Okay, I'm going to stop calling. And now this goes hand in hand with number 4 common mistake, patience. You've got to develop that patience for turkey hunting. And also when reading the bird, you could very well maybe hear him walking around you, walking out there. You might hear a gobble real close over here in front of you, and all of a sudden he gobbled way over to your right, 100 yards away this way. He's circling you. I was sharing an example scenario of with patience when you're calling, you're stopped your last calling sequence, and you're sitting out being patient, listening, wait. That bird, that Tom coming in, he could circle your location before coming around to where he heard that last call, and ultimately where you'll drop him and give him a dirt nap. So you might hear the gobbles going around you, that bird circling. That's when you want to get ready. Stop calling. No calling necessary here. Remain patient. Use patience. Get your gun up and ready. You're going to kill that bird. He's coming. He's circling you. He's going to eventually work his way in, looking for and listening for that hen. The hen is you. You made the hen calls. He's looking ultimately for you. So keeping that in mind, you've got to stay still, not fidget, move too much. And hopefully you didn't commit the number 3 common mistake, sitting up wrong, having a bad setup. Hopefully not, for your sake. Remain in quiet and still, because he might be real close. If you heard the last gobble behind you, he did gobble out in front of you, then he gobbled to your right, and he gobbled behind you. He could be all of a sudden to your left and coming out around in front of you, and you want to have your gun ready position to be waiting, watching closely, being still and quiet. He could be real close. So you got to be ready. All right. So, yeah, that's the 5 common mistakes that most turkey hunters will make one time or another throughout their turkey hunt this year or for years to come. We're all going to be guilty of committing one of 2 or more of these 5 common mistakes at one time or another. So we have Joe Dutiel on here. Hang up. I usually wait for 3 gobbles and call, and then 3 gobbles or more and call. Nice. So Joe, if you're still here with me watching and listening, thank you, by the way, for chiming in, for joining chat. I've been live for over an hour now, so now is a great time to answer people's questions and to join the chat. And while I do, I'm going to put on some viewing pleasure for all of you. So, okay, so Joe, he says, and this is Joe's response to me talking about hung up birds. Calling a little. So he's waiting for 3 gobbles. If he hears at least 3 gobbles. Okay, so expound on this a little bit for everybody, Joe. Are you waiting for 3 back-to-back gobbles? Like gobble, 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 or 3 consecutive gobbles, like the tom gobbling, and then maybe gobbling a second time moments later, and then at some point in time a third, and then is that when you're calling again after you hear his 3rd gobble, and then you wait for 3 more? I think that's how you explain that. So Joe, expound a little more on this approach. Nice. So, really, everybody, there's really no rhyme or reason to this. There's really no right or wrong. For all intents and purposes, it's really, it's your hunt, right? So go about it how you feel fit. Go about it with your, follow your gut feeling, your gut instinct, and do what you've had success with doing in the past, right? So, I mean, really, it's, and when it all comes down to it, it's your hunt, not mine, not his, not hers. It's your hunt. Call often, a lot. Call loudly if you want. And obviously, that I can think of another mistake that I didn't add. I could think of a bonus mistake, a sixth common mistake that turkey hunters do make, and that's not playing the wind and thermals. If you think for a moment that turkey don't use their sense of smell, they may not be busting you by smell, but they use wind and thermal. Trust me, they travel their home range in the core area. They go about their daily routines based on climate and weather, based on winds and thermals. The turkey, for one, they hate the high winds. They hate strong winds. They're going to be down in the holler and like stream bottoms, river bottoms. They're going to be down into low areas in their home range out of the wind. They're going to be somewhere out of the wind. They hate the wind. They're playing the wind and thermals as much as you should. You should pay attention to it. If it's a very high windy day, very windy, and you're hearing gobbling, but it's very faint, that's probably because of the wind. Your calls, that 30% volume might not be enough in a hot, very high, blustery, windy day. Obviously, you've got to just read the landscape and just follow your weather forecast for that day. Is it windy? Is it not windy? Pay attention to wind and thermal. Thermals, obviously, thermals are rising and falling air rising due to heat. Warmer air rises, colder air sinks. So if let's say you're down in the bottom near a stream, that microclimate down there near that stream. It could be like 20 degrees cooler down there by that stream than it is up on the top of the ridge. It could be 80 degrees up there and like 60 degrees down the bottom. And so the turkey, they're going to be down there too in the cool, damp, shady area where it's cooler and more comfortable for them. They're not going to be out in the wide open area where it's sunny and hot, 80 degrees. So if you're down there in the bottom calling, those thermals, that cooler air is causing airflow to pull downward. So the sounds of your calls are ultimately going to be pulled downward. So maybe project if you're predicting the turkey to be down lower, a little lower elevation downstream this way somewhere, maybe angle your call that way. Have your sound be pulled downward with the thermals. So that's the thermal part of playing the wind and thermals. And so in the turkey, they're going to hear better in a calmer area, an area where they're out of the wind. Sound's going to travel easier, and the sound's going to reach their little openings on the side of their head much quicker, where it's calmer, less windy, so forth, so on. So you've got to keep all these things in mind. Like, what's the weather today? Is it raining? Is it windy? Is the climate today conducive to causing the turkey to be tight beat, to make the gobblers shut up, not gobble like at all? Maybe just gobble once or twice. Maybe gobble once on the roost and once when they fly off the roost, and maybe gobble in the evening when they fly up to roost. And sometimes there's no gobbling at all because of the weather. A driving wind, high winds, driving rain could cause the mating activity to halt for that day and cause the gobbling to shut right off altogether. So all this has to be kept in mind when planning your future turkey hunts. So does anybody have any questions or comments they'd like to leave in the chat? Joe Dutill messaged the group chat, said, with hung up birds, I usually wait for 3 gobbles and then call. Then after 3 more gobbles, and then call again. Okay. At what point in time though, Joe, are you stopping your calling? Because obviously, when that bird gets real close, starts getting to within 50 yards or under, or even once that gobbler is within 100 yards of your setup, I would hope you're not calling. I would hope at that point in time, especially if you know that bird is close and you are confident he's coming, I'm hoping you've shut up and you've got on the gun and you're waiting it out, being patient, still and quiet. Hopefully. So anyway, I definitely have been alive a long time, haven't I? So any other questions, anybody? So I do want to mention to all of you that Guard Pro, I got the solar panel right here. Guard Pro trail cameras. They're a standalone trail cam company. Here's their solar panel. I got one of my Guard Pro cellular trail cameras with the rechargeable lithium-ion battery in it, set up it's set up scouting for turkey right now. I've already gotten some nice picture and video of a tom turkey and some hens on that. I'll be sharing in future shorts videos that I'll upload on my channel. I'll show some of that probably in future live streams and video uploads on my channel. But Guard Pro trail cameras, they're really a game changer. What's cool with their cellular trail cameras is they will connect to any available cell tower, the closest available cell tower nearby your location. They will connect to. They've got a pre-programmed SIMS card in every one of their cellular trail cameras that's all automatically programmed to connect that camera to any available cellular network, Verizon, AT&T, and so forth, so on. Doesn't matter. And so that's cool. And they, like 90% of their cameras, I think they do have at least like one of their most original Guard Pro cameras, they have a generic battery powered SD card type trail camera. They do have some of those available. For the most part, they have cameras that are equipped with rechargeable batteries. That's going to save you tons of money. So you're not buying AA batteries ever again. It's a rechargeable battery, and it lasts a couple months longer than the conventional AA batteries in trail cameras. Anyway, so why not check them out? Guard Pro trail cameras. And I have an exclusive 15% discount code to give all of you. If you want to go to the Guard Pro website and browse their Wi-Fi trail cameras and their cellular trail cameras. I'll put the code here in the chat. My 15% off discount code is Justin 15. And so what I'm going to do, everybody, is get that code for you. Okay, hold on. What am I doing? So here's some viewing pleasure for you while I'm looking it up. So it is, yeah, I've memorized it before, but so it's Justin 15 10 84 52 52. Oh wait, it wasn't even. So 1084 52 52. So that's the discount code for 15% off. For 15% off Guard Pro cellular trail cameras. And here's my exclusive coupon link. So https://guardpro.com/Justin Merrill. So you can write down or copy my link, Justin 15 1084 52 52, for 15% off any of Guard Pro's cellular trail cameras and solar panels, or their Wi-Fi trail cameras. Their Wi-Fi trail cameras are good out to 3,000 feet, and they come with a hub. They won't work without that Guard Pro internet hub, Wi-Fi hub that you need to have set up. You could turn a hunting camp into a internet hotspot for yourself. You could purchase a hotspot and even put the hotspot in a hunting blind or something. As long as you have that hub there with your internet hotspot, it will make that Wi-Fi camera work for you. And within the woods, you might get 1,500 to 2,000 feet max with a Wi-Fi camera. But out in the clear, wide open fields, like you could have that Wi-Fi camera set on the edge of the field behind your house and get 3,000 foot range out of that camera. And you can set up a handful of Wi-Fi cameras. There's no fees with that. Obviously, if you already have internet, in your home, then you're saving tons of money by using the Wi-Fi cameras around your house and property for scouting. So you can use my 15% discount code to browse the website, Guard Pro website, to see what cameras you would be interested in, cellular trail cameras or Wi-Fi cameras, and get 15% off. We're running a spring sale right now, a really big sale. So with that sale, and in addition to my 15% extra off, you're getting one heck of a deal on Guard Pro cameras right now. So you definitely want to check them out, give them a try. Definitely highly recommend the X60 Pro Max. That's what I'm running, the Guard Pro cellular X60 Pro Max trail cameras. They also do live stream. So, and you get notified immediately you get notified immediately to everybody. With this the Guard Pro X60 Max cellular trail camera, when you have the Guard Pro app on your phone, you get an instant notification if something tripped the camera, if there's a deer or turkey in front of that camera. And then you can like go to the live option in your settings, click live view, and watch it live, real time, right then and there. And you can periodically throughout the day, every day, click on live and watch in front of that camera live at any point in time. But do keep in mind when you're using the live feature, the live stream feature on that X60 Pro Max Guard Pro cellular trail camera, you're using more of that battery life on that rechargeable lithium-ion battery. That's when you'll, I mean, obviously when you have the right settings set up on the camera, you're not using certain features too much, you're going to prolong the life of any battery for that matter in any device. Just makes sense, it's common sense. But so anyways, yeah, the cameras that I run do live stream, send me instant notifications. They're cellular, they got rechargeable battery. So yeah, 15% off Guard Pro trail cameras. Let's check it out, everybody. All right. So, thank you everybody for joining me live this Wednesday night. I go live every Wednesday night starting around 8:30 p.m. So keep that in mind. And I hope. So yeah, if I hope that all this information was helpful to you. If it was, please click the like button. It helps the algorithm boost this video out to other viewers, other audiences. So definitely smash that like button, everybody. And subscribe to Spikes and Gills. I'd greatly appreciate the extra follow and support. So yeah. Nice. Well, it was working. Could Joe do a till message? Oh, he says. Nice. He said, I stop when I know he is coming. Nice. Oh, what did he say?